Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at another one of the books I grabbed from Piao in their closing shop sale, which is unfortunate because I'm really enjoying a lot of these books, so it's a really great publisher. But this one I think was my favorite. This is the one that I was like, I've got to go get this before I can't get it anymore. And then while I was there, it was like everything else looked cool, so I grabbed as much as I could. But this is Stages of Rot by Linnea Sterte. This is someone I've seen their art online on Instagram and stuff and really admired it. Obviously from the cover you can tell that there's like strong Moebius vibes to it. Who doesn't love that? So I had to grab it. And then the story is also just really interesting. It's a strange, like, metaphorical story that spans like a long span of time. So I'm just gonna flip through and show some of the art and try to explain the story a little bit, but it's a bit poetic in a more interpretable way than some of the other poetic stuff that I have trouble with. But basically, the title "Stages of Rot" is referring to the fact that you have this gigantic whale creature on the cover that dies, and the story's broken up into these chunks. You know, the first chunk is where the creature dies, and then really the span of history that this encompasses is huge. It's like the entire evolution of a planet, basically, and you check back in with the corpse of the whale at different stages. So by the third chapter now, obviously something that was once on land has now been totally degraded down to just the bones and is underwater and buried. The second chapter is like people using the bones to craft things for their society. So it shows how this object becomes important in different ways to different societies throughout time, how it gets lost, and totally, it says after 50 years adrift they find by chance a place to settle. So just washed away and floating for 50 years and sat at the bottom of a river. Later on, now this is obviously turned into a jungle, and this thing is now grown over with all of this life. I think this is not underwater. I think these are flying whales and flying fish in this world. But you can see as I'm flipping through just this beautiful, clean line kind of art, really lovely colors, and then that growth of society around the thing, and how this object moves through time and impacts over time and is impacted over time, I think is just a really compelling story. And then this edition that I've got, I think it says on the back that this one has like some extras in it. This must be a reprint or something, but there's like some extra little things here in the back, some little pinups and stuff. But all throughout, just amazing art. So again, like with all these Piao books, I kind of apologize that I'm showing off things that might be harder to get a hold of. But if you can find this book, Stages of Rot by Linnea Sterte, it's definitely well worth it. If you appreciate what we're doing here on the channel, there's two ways to support us. The first one is through our Patreon. We have two different tiers that come with different levels of exclusive content and voting rights and things like that. We really appreciate that support. The money we get from that helps us buy the books that we review. So we're always trying to turn that right back around into the community for, supporting other creators as well while we expose them to you all. So that's really appreciated. And then the best thing to do to support Living the Line is to support what Sean does with Living the Line Publishing. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the projects that he has out now. Centralia is an awesome, gorgeous comic by rising Dutch star Miel van de Peet. This is his first work. It's a really great sci-fi story. There's a world in the future where the sun has gotten so hot that people can't be on the ground. So they have to run around. There's a lot of conceits that go with that. What is the world that looks like? And I think you can see by the art that Sean's description of this book as like a Moebius for young adults, a YA Moebius, is a really great description of this really gorgeous and like wild, wacky, fun book. Thanks for following along. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.